Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2002 Mitsubishi Diamante. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Diamante for one sole reason. You don't see them anymore. You know, these cars weren't the most popular, but they were around when they first came out, and they've only become more and more rare to the point where they have drifted into obscurity. I didn't know what the Diamante really was before I started researching for this video. So today we're going to take a walk down memory lane and see when Mitsubishi tried to go upmarket for the umpteenth time. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, just like this Diamante, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or months in advance before they're released here on YouTube, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6. Well, it was actually a relatively run-of-the-mill engine for Mitsubishi at the time. This wasn't anything too crazy. As I mentioned, they were trying to go upmarket. Mitsubishi was trying to sell a more luxury car, and this was their attempt at it. So you got that nice added power and torque from a V6 as opposed to an inline 4. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic transmission, and this was a little problem child. Inside the transmission, there's a little part known as the wave spring, and they go bad quite a bit. This car is on at least its second transmission, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was on its third. That was just kind of what happened in the early 2000s, late 90s. We saw a lot of different companies with transmission issues, and this unfortunately was just another one, another statistic, if you will, and that's what happened. Last but not least about the drivetrain, it is front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Diamante? It's interesting. Well, it drives like pretty much every other sedan from the era. I've driven the Mitsubishi Galant as well, so it does drive a lot like that. Or the Mazda 6 of the era as well. Visibility is really good, still has that 90s style visibility where it has really thin A-pillars, which I personally really prefer. Steering is really, really light, and that's nice too. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and speedometer. Off to the right is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and they really remind me of Lexus of the era, those sort of electroluminescent gauges that Lexus was trying out. On the steering wheel, we do have volume, scan, call buttons down at the bottom, in the center of the steering wheel. Very, very weird to see that. Odd placement. We do have cruise control on a stalk to the right. And to the left of the steering wheel, we do have a climate control vent and our TCL on and off. Moving on to the door, we do have 2 levels of memory seats as well as a stop button for the memory seats. Finally, I won't get crushed when I drive someone's car who's shorter than me. Power mirrors, power windows, and power locks down below. Moving into the center, we do have our clock as well as our climate control vents and the climate controls themselves. What I really like is that the climate controls actually do have a digital readout for Japanese cars. This was usually saved for their home market, so it's nice to see that here in a USDM Diamante. Say that 5 times fast. And we have auto temperature, which again was really, really nice to see. Down below that we have our Infinity sound system. Love to see that. CD player, AM, FM power, and all of those goodies. A big cubby, pull-out ashtray and cigarette lighter, and then we do have heated seats. Again, kind of a nice luxury option here for the Diamante. The shifter is found in the center for that terrible automatic transmission, and we do have a big shift lock sign up at the top. Shift lock, depress the brake pedal before shifting from park. Shift into park before removing the ignition key, and refer to owner's manual for further details. Not sure it was necessary, but that's what they gave us. Then we do have a 12-volt outlet. Seems kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is fine. I'm not judging it. I mean, maybe I am. But it's nice to have in the center for charging, especially here in the modern era, as we're all so connected to our devices. Then down below that, we do have a little cubby. Behind the heated seat buttons, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big freaking bottle test, but if you could use your eyes, yeah, it's not gonna pass. The seats are comfortable. I really like this leather. I think the leather has held up really well, although this was a Southern car for most of its life. I like it a lot. The leather's nice. They're comfy. They're warm. They have the heated seats, and the driver's seat is memory, so all to love here in the front of the Diamante. However, speaking of seats, we do a back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2002 Mitsubishi Diamante, and it's actually not great. Now, I've watched enough CSI Miami to know that I think there were tires in the back seat at some point, but it's just a hunch at this point. But besides that, the seats themselves are very comfortable. I do get a fold-out center console, which is just a big, comfy brick, but my knees are getting squeezed a little bit. It's not a super luxurious back seat. It's a nicer back seat than what you would have found in smaller cars, especially the Lancers at the time, and definitely the Mirages, but it's not really that big luxury back seat feel that I was looking for. And that's okay. It doesn't have to fulfill every expectation, just one of them, maybe. But with that being said, let's hop into the trunk and take a look at the cargo space. All right, around the back of the Diamante. Open it up like this. And we do have a stick because the hood struts are broken, as you saw in the hood shots. Once we are back here, this is a very luxurious trunk. This is a ton of space, which is really, really nice to see. And I say it in all my videos, I miss when sedans had these big, atrociously large trunks. I liked that about them, and the Diamante most certainly has that. So if you've ever been curious about the trunk space of a Diamante, wonder no more. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I actually don't know how I feel about the Diamante. I don't think it's very outwardly pretty. I don't think it's very stylish, but it is kind of just weird to see a Diamante. You know, that's just something that I don't see all that much. And so anytime I do get the opportunity to see it, well, it's something to behold. That being said, like I mentioned, I don't think that the design would win any specific awards. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Mitsubishi Diamante? Well, first of all, I thought that this was a really, really cool experience. To drive a Diamante is something so special because you just don't see them anymore. And it's not like this car was incredibly cool or incredibly neat or unique or special in its era, but that's what I love. I love driving cars that weren't special in their era that are still around. We don't see it all that much, so it's nice to see it here. But as I've kept mentioning and alluding to this entire time, Mitsubishi wanted to go upmarket, and what that means is basically sell more luxury cars, sell less cars for more money. And so they wanted to do that here with the Diamante. Now, the Mitsubishi Sigma actually came before this and was a similar idea, but this was their latest attempt, at least in 2002. And it never really caught on. Mitsubishi was never successful into going up market and selling luxury cars. But gosh darn it, if they didn't try and try again. And honestly, on paper, this isn't far off from the Lexus products that I've driven from the early 2000s. Putting the reliability to the side for a second, I have fake wood grain in here all throughout. I have my digital automatic climate controls. I have heated seats. I have memory seats, standard cruise control, volume adjustment on the steering wheel that wasn't found in base model cars at the time, traction control. And just look at this interior shot. If you removed the Mitsubishi badge from the steering wheel, you would probably think that you were in a Lexus, especially with those gauges. But Mitsubishi was just too obscure. I don't think people could take Mitsubishi that seriously, and although they were producing some pretty good performance cars and pretty good economy cars, they just couldn't find the edge of the market. They couldn't sink their teeth into something. And so this was an attempt, but people didn't care. We had enough luxury cars. We had more reliable luxury cars. We had luxury cars from bigger, better, more well-known names. And so the Diamante got passed up time and time again. And now it's time that's doing the passing. These cars weren't that popular. Transmissions killed a lot of them, so we don't see them on the road anymore. And this is one of those cars that in 10 to 15 years' time, no one will know about, no one will hear about, and no one will talk about. But here it is today, the Lexus fighter that could have been and ended up not so. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Andrew for letting me borrow his Mitsubishi Diamante for today's video. He has been absolutely wonderful to work with. I also just filmed his Kia Cadenza that's either on the channel now or will be in the near future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.